Let's take a look at how we can start animating in this video. So I have a simple ball over here, and let's just do a basic animation on it. So the first thing you'll have to do is go to the time configuration, which is this button over here. Let's click on that. In this case, what I have is 60 frames over here, so animation is calculated in frames. So if this object was going from point A over here, let's say, to point B, let's say over here, and if it took 60 frames to get there, then that would be an NTSC, which is 30 frames a second. That would be 2 seconds. So that would be 60 images. Think about it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way over here till it reaches 60. And if it was an NTSC, that means it took 2 seconds to get there, because NTSC is at 30 frames a second. If you turn it to PAL, you can see right now my timeline changed to 0 to 50. That's 25 frames a second. So it'll reach the same distance over here, but in 2 seconds again, but that'll be at 25 frames a second. Film is at 24 frames a second, so you can see immediately change from 0 to 48. And then custom over here allows you to change your FPS, which is frames per second, to anything you want. Time display, I would always display it as frames, although you can display it as minutes, seconds, and ticks if you wanted to. So if I go to playback, I normally keep it at real time unless there's really a need to change it. Also, I always loop the animation. So playback's at 1x, which is playing just at the regular playback time. Also animation 0 to 48. I can rescale the time over here. I can change the animation time over here if I wanted to, but I'll go back to NTSC and I'll change itself. So that's still, I just want it at 2 seconds right now at NTSC, which is 30 frames a second. So let's go to OK. To start animating, I can select the object over here. You have auto key and set key. So set key, right now I don't have any keyframes, so I can just set a key, turn this on, and K is the hotkey, but you can just simply click on this big key icon. So you can see right now I've set a key for position, rotation, and scale. So if I move my time slider, so this is our time slider over here, if I move it to frame 30 over here, I can now move the object. Now instead of doing set key every time, at this time what I can do is I can simply, let's go back, I just zoomed in. Let's go to frame 30 and turn on auto key in this case. So let's say the object is over there at frame 0, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to frame 30 and move it over here. Also move it up. You can see it's already registered a keyframe, but this time you can see the keyframe color is different from this because it's just registered a transform key right there, because it's not RGB, as you can see. And now if I can rotate it, let's say just in Y, let's say about that much. Now it's rotated green, which is my rotation key. And then I'm going to go to 60, and you can see auto key is automatically recording my keyframes. I can move the object here and maybe down somewhere over here, and let's further rotate it. And let's say if I'm going to rotate it in all rotation axis, so right there. And let's say if I also wanted to scale it at this time, that's when you'll see another blue channel coming up over here. You can see right there. Or maybe I want to scale it up. So I just did this. Object's rotating, and right now you can see right there. So that's how you would start doing your animation. Now I can also right click over here and configure and say show me a selection range. So if I select those keys, I can also scale them down like this. So that's really a very handy tool. I can right click, configure, show selection range, turn that off. So this is our timeline over here. This is our time slider. You can also, let's turn off the auto key, always a good idea to do that. You can also hold on Control and Alt, and left mouse button will allow you to go into some negative keyframes over here. And right mouse button will allow you to get some more keys over here. So you can also zoom in your timeline like this. So really a good way to do that. You can see right there, I'm just looking at 0 to 30 right now. And I can go right mouse button again and get all the 60 frames back. So there you go, that's how you start animating your objects.